Gather round, my friends, and hear my tale of the Alchemist, a horror beyond the pale. H.P. Lovecraft's dark creation, a story of fear and devastation. In Arkham town, where mysteries abound, lived a man with knowledge profound. An alchemist he was, seeking the secrets of life. With elixirs and potions, he aimed to end all strife. But his experiments went awry, as he sought to cheat death to never die. He delved too deep into the arcane, and soon he was consumed by mortal pain. For he created a being twisted and vile, a monster born of his mad desire, a thing of tentacles and eyes, with a hunger that will never die. The alchemist feared his own creation, and fled from his own impending damnation. But the monster followed him everywhere, a shadow that he could never bear. He sought the help of the town's wisest sage, who warned him of the monster's rage. But the alchemist, driven by his own fear, chose to confront the horror near. In the end, the alchemist was consumed by the monster he had unwittingly doomed. And now his legacy lives on, a warning to those who would play with life beyond. So heed my words, dear friends, and beware of the alchemist's fate and the monster's stare. For in the realm of the arcane and the bizarre lies a terror that can leave a permanent scar. And so, my listeners, never fear nor turn pale as we continue this dark and sordid tale. At this point, I was left to imagine the solution of the greatest mystery of all. How the curse had been fulfilled since that time when Charles Le Sorcier must in the course of nature have died. For the man digressed into an account of the deep alchemical studies of the two wizards, father and son, speaking most particularly of the researches of Charles Le Sorcier, concerning the elixir which should grant to him who partook of it eternal life and youth. His enthusiasm had seemed for the moment to remove from his terrible eyes the hatred that had first so haunted them. But suddenly, the fiendish glare returned, and with a shocking sound like the hissing of a serpent, the stranger raised the glass phial with the evident intent of ending my life as had Charles Le Sorcier 600 years before ended that of my ancestor. Prompted by some preserving instinct of self-defense, I broke through the spell that had hitherto held me immovable, and flung my now dying torch at the creature who menaced my existence. I heard the phial break harmlessly against the stones of the passage as the tunic of the strange man caught fire and lit the horrid scene with a ghastly radiance. The shriek of fright and impotent malice emitted by the would-be assassin proved too much for my already shaken nerves. and I fell prone upon the slimy floor in a total faint. When at last my senses returned, all was frightfully dark, and my mind, remembering what had occurred, shrank from the idea of beholding more. Yet curiosity overmastered all. Who, I asked myself, was this man of evil, and how came he within the castle walls? Why should he seek to avenge the death of poor Michel Mauvois, and how had the curse been carried on through all the long centuries since the time of Charles Le Sorcier? The dread of years was lifted from my shoulders, for I knew that he whom I had felled was the source of all my danger from the curse, and now that I was free, I burned with a desire to learn more of the sinister thing which had haunted my line for centuries and made of my own youth one long continued nightmare. Determined upon further exploration, I felt in my pockets for flint and steel and lit the unused torch which I had with me. First of all, the new light revealed the distorted and blackened form of the mysterious stranger. The hideous eyes were now closed. Disliking the sight, I turned away and entered the chamber beyond the Gothic door. Here I found what seemed much like an alchemist's laboratory. In one corner was an immense pile of a shining yellow metal that sparkled gorgeously in the light of the torch. It may have been gold, but I did not pause to examine it, for I was strangely affected by that which I had undergone. At the farther end of the apartment was an opening leading out into one of the many wild ravines of the dark hillside forest. Filled with wonder, yet now realizing how the man had obtained access to the chateau, I proceeded to return. I had intended to pass by the remains of the stranger with averted face, but as I approached the body, I seemed to hear emanating from it a faint sound, as though life were not yet wholly extinct. Aghast, I turned to examine the charred and shriveled figure on the floor. Then all at once, the horrible eyes, blacker even than the seared face in which they were set, opened wide with an expression which I was unable to interpret. The cracked lips tried to frame words which I could not well understand. Once I caught the name of Charles Le Sorcier, and again I fancied that the words years and curse issued from the twisted mouth. Still, I was at a loss to gather the purport of his disconnected speech. At my evident ignorance of his meaning, the pitchy eyes once more flashed malevolently at me, until helpless as I saw my opponent to be, I trembled as I watched him. Suddenly, the wretch, animated with his last burst of strength, raised his hideous head from the damp and sunken pavement. Then, as I remained paralyzed with fear, he found his voice, and his dying breath screamed forth those words which have never afterward haunted my days and my nights.
Fool! Can you not guess my secret? Have you no brain whereby you may recognize the will which has through 6 long centuries fulfilled the dreadful curse upon your house? Have I not told you of the great elixir of eternal life? Know you not how the secret of alchemy was solved? I tell you, it is I that have lived for 600 years to maintain my revenge, for I am Charles Le Sorcier.
Truly a blood-curdling moment to happen to such a noble man of an old and noble house. But to all of this, what can we learn of this story? Well, it can be summarized at this. The moral lesson of H.P. Lovecraft's The Alchemist is that a pursuit of power and knowledge beyond the bounds of reason can lead to one's downfall. The alchemist's obsession with the dark arts and the pursuit of immortality ultimately leads to his transformation into a monstrous being which he cannot undo. The story serves as a cautionary tale against the dangers of greed and the desire for power, and highlights the importance of recognizing one's limitations. It is also a reminder that there are some mysteries and knowledges that are not meant to be uncovered, and that one should always be mindful of the consequences of their actions. Like all things that we do in life, for every action, as one wise man said, is an equal and often opposite reaction. In essence, the story called The Alchemist warns against the dangers of playing God or a god, and the consequences that come with meddling with forces beyond human control. It is a reminder to exercise caution, wisdom, and restraint in the pursuit of knowledge and power. So, my dear listeners, that is all for tonight. Until next time, my friends, I am Mordecai, also known as the Solemn Bard. Thank you, and goodbye.